Welcome to Rich Talk, where we keep the conversation going.
The host of this episode, Dane.
Ivan.
Shaylor.
Logan Barnes.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of Rich Talk, the podcast. We're here to get rich and stay rich. So, what's up, fellas? How everybody feeling today?
What's up? Feeling good.
Happy to be here.
New year.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
New levels, new devils.
We made it out in 2020. That's all. So I'll take anything from that. Like, anything after that is a good thing.
Yeah, I understand we all just had we just had too much to process last year, I feel like.
Yeah.
And we still, we on the back end. It's the last few pages coming out the printer. We running out of ink.
Yeah.
But we made it.
Yeah.
But we made it.
That's a good way to put it. I'm ready
say
for
it
a
on
new
TV.
cartridge. Like, a new cartridge, some different colors. Like just, it wants to be really vibrant this year. Like really just flip some new pages and just paint a bigger, brighter, better picture.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Word.
That's the wave. So, I mean, we did have a lot go on, but something beautiful that we had happen in our community this year. We had a lot of black businesses opening up, starting up, getting funding, and really getting the shine that they needed. And we had some in all types of spaces. Like we've had restaurants, crafting businesses, media businesses, everything really. So I just wanted to ask you guys, like, to start this off, what are like the first, what are some of the businesses that stuck out to you this year, black businesses that you saw come along?
Man.
Or maybe the type of, maybe if not specific.
I would say all types. I would definitely say that people like channeling their passions into like products, and so maybe that goes from like body butters or like candles or like things that people like to use themselves, turning that into a profession, well a self-funded profession. But one thing that really stuck out to me about this season of entrepreneurs is just the transition that they had to make their business through and create their business through. Even from the basics of just like the Rich family brands and Rich merch and getting Rich Mag off the ground and shooting this new season. We've had to deal with setbacks due to COVID-19. And I know that a lot of other companies have experienced a lot of those same setbacks, whether it goes from the simple like shipping things with mail and having to deal with those delays, whether you need something coming in or if you're sending something out. That's been an issue. But then on the other side of that, I've been hearing a lot of people say that if COVID-19 didn't bring the hustle out of you, then nothing will. Because honestly, like I feel like that's how all the innovative, creative ideas ever come about, is about necessity. Like because we need something, so then we create it. That's especially something that we can resonate with as black people, because we always take the bare minimum and make it into something beautiful. And that's what I've been seeing with a lot of businesses. And then like creative things like this, like a black woman created this, like black women, like definitely shout out to that. God is dope, black women matter. Just taking the opportunity to, when we're going through these motions and we're creating these businesses, to highlight us and emphasize us.
Yeah.
And emphasis on black people, but heavy emphasis on black women, because y'all are doing the damn thing for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the struggles that people had to go through to get their businesses started and off the ground is just making people take them that much more serious. Like they already had to get over a big hump. So it's not like a business that you just gonna forget about or just not do what you got to do to really keep it going. Like people, I'm seeing people a lot more committed to their hobbies and making their hobbies and passions into income and something tangible.
It's a beautiful thing because like they're doing exactly like people taking the time to learn. about what they're good at, finding their own ways, and not trying to rely on like that 9 to 5. It definitely brought the hustle out, I would say, and a lot of people, especially young black entrepreneurs, because like man, how many retweets I was retweeting, like all black businesses, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing. People was learning about stocks, people was talking about generational wealth, and I mean even still to this day, like, you know what I'm saying, like it really showed you as far as what we are capable of as far as young professionals, young black entrepreneurs, and that's
everything. We're capable of everything. Like it's nothing we're not capable of. Like surviving, like just surviving, and then taking that surviving, and then how can we thrive? Like, and I think that's what we need to focus on now.
Yeah, we continue.
Definitely. Just and even talking about like generational wealth and like accumulating like wealth and money and stuff and trying to secure that legacy for yourself and like really diving into playing that kind of game that all these other people are trying to stop us from playing, in the government with people like Mitch McConnell in office and Donald Trump in the residency. It's literally built into the system how it's destructive for black families. I mean, even going back to the idea with wealth and like black Americans weren't offered the same thing for the GI Bill that white men who went into the force who fought in the war, they got housing loans, they got jobs out in the suburbs. Like black people were stuck in Detroit after the crash of the industrial revolution, with the cars, after these big GM plants moved out into the suburbs. Like that was a big thing that happened, and that's those sorts of things like stack up and they're on top of each other, but they were all institutionalized through the government. So it's like
and then in order to counteract systems, you have to build new systems. So that's where the entrepreneurship and the building black capital comes in at, is we have to build the institutions and the systems and the organizations. Like some of the long-standing organizations have existed. We have to continue to build things like that create wealth and invest that wealth into our communities versus giving it to giving, because black dollars, they matter, and where we spend those black dollars, they matter.
And that's true, and that's why having Rich Talk and having Dame's podcast, like you guys are important for stimulating the economy, because if you can become successful off of your podcast, that money's going into black hands. That's going into your hands, and that's a tool that we can use to further our advancement, and that's why investing is another important thing. What do you guys know about investing?
See, that's
the issue. They don't teach us that.
I know most importantly, like especially about this, investing into yourself and into your business is the most important thing that you can do. Like you gotta keep upgrading and leveling up, because I feel like another important thing from this year, we saw black people get to levels, black people, women, men, get to new levels that we never saw them get to before, and I feel like that was very important to see for a lot of people, just to show people that this is possible, like this can happen. And once you have that, that's really sometimes all a person needs to just go put their $1 million idea to work. Like they done had it in their head for 3 months, but until they thought it was possible to really make it happen, it couldn't until then. So
those resources. So I think investing is like key. Like as much as we talk about financial literacy, I think the heart of that is investing and learning where to invest our money. And Dame, that's a great point, because I think a lot of people don't think about the fact that we are like the bag as well. So if you want to invest in something, and you want to invest in something that can have a heavy return on investment, invest in your own business, invest in your own family, because at the end of the day, that's something that you're going to have forever. Like, and so stocks, yes, like whatever we can that's going to make us residual income, and passive income where you don't have to put in as much work to get it. I think that's where we need to be putting our money. But we also need to continue to invest in ourselves and figure out how we can build and expand on things that make life easier. You were talking about that in episode 1.
Yeah.
You said that the key is to build something that makes life easier for yourself. Like, how can you accomplish your joy, your peace, your success in the way that is as simplified as possible? And I think the way that we do that is to continue to build black capital and invest black dollars where they help us most.
It's definitely important. So, what do you guys feel like? Because I know it's still a lot of people that haven't started their businesses and they have those ideas, and it might be that $1 million, $1 billion idea. Who knows? But what do you feel like is the biggest obstacle right now from people getting started with their businesses or their great ideas that they have yet to act on?
I would say belief in themselves. Like, I would say belief in themselves, and I would say not only belief in themselves, but belief that their idea is needed. I think that we need to tell our people, tell our family, tell the people that we can reach that not only are you needed and what you do, but not only are you needed and your dream is valid, but also what you can provide is needed. Like, you just have to find the best way to apply it. Like, yeah. But people don't believe that what they need is needed. I mean, what they do is needed.
But they need that motivation, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like something, or a good mentor. Like sometimes, like it just takes that spark, you know, just to want to do that or accomplish that, you know, that certain business or goal that you want. But I definitely think that, you know, it definitely comes down to motivation. How bad do you want it? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing this for? Are you doing this for you? Are you doing this for your family? Like, you know what I'm saying? How bad do you want it at the end of the day? That's what I think about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think trying to build your goal, like build up your business and stuff like that, is a stressful thing too. So like, I think there's gonna be a lot of obstacles in the way, but I guess you learn something from you know going through those obstacles. I don't know. I guess I don't have any like personal experience now, but I mean I can imagine like you guys just like, you know, like and even just like meeting goals and like expectations and stuff like that. Like they often say that like, you know, businesses often fail, you know, first couple of times, you know.
Yeah.
People have to keep trying and stuff. So it's just like you definitely have to go in, you know, and just be ready to like endure those challenges, I guess.
Yeah. And something that I feel like is important that holds a lot of people back. If you see, like, when they see people doing similar things or things that they know they want to do, but they feel like, oh, I don't want to look like I'm just copying, or if that's how you're going into it, I guess that's how it's going to be, but Nike's not going to stop making shoes just because Adidas dropping some new stuff, and vice versa. Like, it's never going to stop you. Once you get in, you got to be in it for yourself. And like, yeah, you can see what the competition is doing and what your peers are doing, but don't hold yourself back just because you feel somebody is doing something else. That's just the motivation for you to get in and make a reason for people to want your product or what you selling over something else. Like, you might come in and come with an innovation because you have to. You got to make yourself different like that.
Great point. Y'all both made great points. Logan, you talking about how this is a continuous thing, and like there is never an end solution. Like, there's always going to be another problem that you have to solve, always. So even after you get started, it's never going to be like, okay, I'm just in this and I'm going. It's always going to be another roadblock, like you said. So that endurance is so important, and knowing that you need that endurance before you get into it is key, for sure. And then just to the fact of when we do start this thing, the whole crab in the barrel perspective, that's a whitewashed thing. Like, there's plenty of room for all of us. Like, you are totally right. There's plenty of room for all of us. So when we hop in there, I think we need to just be focused on helping and supporting one another, because, like, we can all eat. Like, we can all eat. And, like, the reason why we don't have food to feed our communities is because we believe that we can't all eat. So as soon as we learn that we can all eat and we can all get rich and stay rich, then we're going to be better off.
Get it off your chest.
Is there anything that anybody needs to get off their chest, because it's about that time?
I mean, shoot. Like,
social media, for
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, just because the dynamic has changed too because of COVID, like,
Yes.
people are like, oh, like, it's fine. I can just, like, text you or something, or, like, you know, whatever. You're, like, cool. You have your friends to text, you know, and stuff like that. Like, keep you from getting lonely. And it's just, I don't know. Sometimes you're connected to people who you don't even, like, really, like, you don't know why. It's just, like, you have nothing to talk about. And it's just, like...
Yes. Building intentional communities has become so much more important in this post-COVID-19 environment world, this post-COVID-19 world, because this post-COVID-19 reality, because that's all we have access to is the virtual community in a lot of these cases, on a lot of these days, a lot of these cases, like, we're test subject, but we're really humans, like, and so it's just like humans, we need human to human interaction, and like to not have that is like, you know, it's different, it's straining, but when we do when we do engage virtually, like, we need I guess to make sure that is feeding us, I guess, in a sense, because when we either make sure that it's feeding us or limit our access to it. Like, because I know that's how when I use social media, because I do need it in a sense to build my businesses and like advance my brand and things like that, and to connect with people. So I do use it like intentionally for those reasons, but even still, when I'm just simply engaging, I want to make sure that it's something that's feeding me, and it's not something that's continuing to drain me, because it's already a draining reality that we don't have the same in-person in-person engagement as we did pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So it's just like trying to make sure that virtual community is still, like, I don't know, I guess benefiting me or like sustaining me, and it's just like that I'm not feeding into the net, because we know that social media can be a negative space as well if you allow it to be. But yeah.
Yeah, and I've talked about this before. It's like, it's that curation. People you definitely just need to follow exactly what you want to hear and what you want to see. Yeah. Like, it's so many people that I know, they follow some random person that they met at a party 3 years ago. Why do you want to hear their opinion on whatever random thing about what Lil Baby doing today? Like, why do you want to see that? It's not getting you anything. You don't even like it. You really don't even know him. And you know it. And you just see it every day, but it's just there.
Maybe it's that fantasy of wanting that lifestyle. I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's kind of one of our biggest problems as being young black 20s, 18s, or like in college and stuff like that. We want to be exposed to more people that's like us, but we also want to live this certain lifestyle of having all the money and jewelry and all this at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of giving you that perception of, yeah, I'm about these Montclairs, like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, we can rock this $900 coat. That's cool. But as a college student, you're gonna see that, you're gonna be exposed to that, and it's like, dang, I want to rock the $900 coat. Maybe I want to live that lifestyle. It's the wrong perception, I feel like.
Especially when you just seen Tyreek on Power wearing it, like,
you know what I'm saying? Like
especially
people. Yeah. Believe it or not, people get in their minds like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. Yeah. Like, but instead we could use that money to put into stocks or something that's gonna like accumulate money over time. You know, it's just the exposure that social media has over young blacks.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is true, especially with like TikTok, bro. Like that's why I be saying like TikTok is evil. Like I don't have it on my phone. I see what it does to people. My friends will be like, oh yeah, I'm scrolling on TikTok like for like an hour, like 2 hours, like before bed. She'll be like, yeah, my friend just sent me 48 TikToks. Like I gotta go watch these. Like, bro, are you kidding me? Like.
No.
And I mean, TikTok is amazing. Like, I got on and their algorithm was just like, it was great. I was like, yeah, I'm addicted. And I was like, I need to get out of here. So.
This is a sidebar, but I've been having issues with Instagram's algorithm. Like, I really don't. I don't know what's wrong with it. I think that it's you, not me. So
Oh no, they definitely set it up that
Instagram
way.
called me because we got some things to work out. But I think that this translates or transitions. It's a good transition or a good segue into just talking about that social media cleanse, like that cleanse, like because like it's like I mean. Our social media is attached a lot to us, so like our social media engagement kind of stimulates off of like just our personal engagement. So I think that when we talk about social media cleanse, it's a good point to bring that. Sometimes we just need a life cleanse, where it's just like, okay, let me just sit down and like get away from all of this for a second. Like, if you want to call it meditation or whatever it is that you want to call it, but like, or if you want to say it's a break or fast, I think there's a lot of different ways to like talk about it. But I think that whatever way that you do talk about it, just taking that moment to like of clarity is necessary, and it's good to be balanced, I guess, because right now and like. We talk about COVID-19 like it's going to like go away. Like I think that it is going to go away, but I think that the new reality is that the way that we move is always going to be different, and it's always going to be, I guess,
More cautious in the kind of
more cautious, and then also virtual. It's gonna be something
Whenever
to get
possible,
used
it's gonna
to.
be virtual.
It's gonna be something that we need to get used to, and we need to learn how to be comfortable with adapting. That's a lot to say to black people because we've always had to adapt, but I think that what I'm saying is not so much as be comfortable with the adapting, but be comfortable with yourself in the need to adapt. Like, so just take time to get to know yourself, find peace within yourself, and like find some time to just take a break.
Yeah, and honestly, before you take that break, most importantly, just trust us on this. Cleanse your social medias and really just follow what you want to follow. That's the investment pages if you're into that. Dream home pages if you just need that manifestation, seeing that, the motivational quotes, and follow your actual friends, people you actually like. Because if you just take the break and then come back, you coming right back to the monster.
And y'all watching Rich Talk, so make sure that you following Rich Talk, the podcast, Rich Mac Digital, and make sure that you're engaging with us. Get to know the host, get to know our content, and read some articles on Rich Mac Digital because you'll definitely get some more perspectives and be able to take something back into your life.
All right. So now that we got everything off of our chest, we have to get back to, we had a good year of black people making it to new heights, but we still had the powers that be holding us back.
Yeah. And we always have, like, and they say, or it's a fact, that COVID-19 exacerbated every inequity that black people face. Like, it made everything that we have experienced 10 times worse. That's not an exact statistic. 10 times is not an exact statistic, but it did make what we endure incrementally more. And that, one of those things is black economic mobility. Like, this virus, this pandemic, it exposed that we don't have the resources that we need as far as financial capital, because we're in this capitalistic society. This is the battleground. This is the playing field. These are the cards that we've been dealt. Is capitalism, and black people don't have the financial capital or the means to get the same financial capital that our oppressors have gotten. They have had more access to resources, more access to economic mobility, because their starting line was built on our oppression.
Right.
Their starting line was built on us being in debt.
Right.
Their starting line was built on us having no generational wealth, no long-standing businesses that we can continue to grow wealth from. So we're starting not at zero, we're starting beneath zero, and we're building upon that. And so this pandemic is just exacerbating that known thing. So we've had small victories, we've had big victories, i.e. Kamala Harris being elected as vice president. Those are things that we can hang on to and say that we're making strides. But then there's still the fact that people are still dying in the streets, and not only are people dying in the streets, they're being killed by the system that is supposed to be protecting us, and that same system that's supposed to be protecting us is not giving us the same access to bettering our lives that it's given other people access to. And I think that's what we need to talk about when we talk about black economic mobility is, do we have what we need to build and alleviate the barriers that we've had? And like, are those barriers going away, or are the barriers still there? And y'all can answer that. Like,
Yeah, it's like they let us out of slavery, and the first thing they let us own was our debt.
yeah,
I think
that's
it is like,
that's a word.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it
a
was
word.
like we 50 years behind, if you think about it. Like even more so, like we
You
like
said 50?
like it like if you think about basically how you're saying how our starting line isn't the same as
Yeah.
what they were doing.
So you're saying
I'm saying basically that what white people and their generational wealth, they've been doing this hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
We're just starting to get to this point where, okay, we can finally invest in stocks and do our business. I mean, we've been doing it for a while, but it's if we're being honest, like maybe the last, I would say 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still not enough.
Mm-hmm.
We face so many challenges as far as like racial inequality, and it's just like it makes it difficult to get to that point. And I feel like this day and age is so different because we are taking the time to educate ourselves on how we want to change the narrative, change the future as far as like for everyone, for us, specifically people of minority and color. So when I say like we're behind, I'm saying that we're just at that point of getting, I guess like the ball rolling as far as like how they were, years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense to me. I would just say that it's even more than 50 years.
Yeah.
I would say that that's just lowballing. I mean, of course, we got to take into the fact of slavery, but like even like I don't know. It's just when you're born and then you have access to a certain amount of dollars, like those dollars translate into like breathing room. Like you have, like they say that black trauma can even be passed down, and there's scientific studies that black trauma has been passed down. So the trauma that we've received from slavery has been physically passed down from generation to generation. So it's still running out of us, like that trauma. And so to say that we've caught up, or that slavery was this amount of years ago, and so now we're on the same playing field. It's kind of asinine. It's kind of ludicrous. And to say that we haven't been doing the work to have the equity that we deserve is also ludicrous and asinine. So I think that when we're having this conversation today, we need to frame it in the fact of reality, and that we are still owed things as Black people. So yes, we're going to do the work, and we're going to continue to elevate in every way that we can ourselves and continue to enrich our lives in the best ways that we can. But we need to acknowledge that there are things that we owe, and the system does need to change on our behalf because we built this country.
Agreed. Definitely. Facts.
And
something I was just thinking was just really important that happened this year is with everything that happened racially and stuff just got put in center field for everybody to see. It's like people really started to locate those specific injustices and where stuff was not equal and where problems were really being started in the system. Like once everything got started, people were looking at everyone. They were looking at every government branch. They were looking at every government program, looking at their effectiveness. They're looking at banks where their loans are going. It was people looking at percentages. Everything that was just being done in the dark was coming to the light. And I'm sure we still don't know everything now, but a lot more people are aware of exactly what's going on. Even a lot of white people got their eyes opened up to, oh, they weren't just saying that, like, the percentages are there. They actually aren't giving Black people these housing loans that I went and got because my dad told me to, because that's just what you do. Like, things were really different, and a lot of people got aware.
It can't be ignored now. Like, the people who were previously able to possibly say, oh, I didn't know that these are the things that Black people experience, like, even those people have to wear their truth now. They have to say, I see this and I'm ignoring it. Versus basically before, okay, maybe I didn't see it and so I'm just not acknowledging it, therefore. But you've seen it. Like, it's like you can't ignore these things. And this is not like a suggestion. It's not, okay, Black people possibly are enduring oppression. Racism is a potential reality. These are hard truths. These are realities. And I think that that's how we need to face this going forward, this is a reality, and we have to deal with it, and we have to decide, are we going to create equity or are we not? And I think that the people who are most vulnerable, the people who are being oppressed, realize that we are going to create equity. It's just, are we going to be met at the table, or are we going to continue to sit at the table by ourselves?
Yeah. I think, like, another thing that's really important is just with, like, you know, kind of getting away from, like, the American, like, because it sounds like we all agree that, like, whatever's happening here isn't, like, really sustainable. Because, like, I mean, if we have to work twice as hard to try to get, like, all these things, we didn't have access to these things in the past. Now we're competing with people who already have, like, an upper hand. And it's just, like, I guess in the end, like, nobody really wins. Because, I mean, they have, like, you know, capitalism in other countries, in Africa, too. I mean, you have, like warlords and stuff. Like, there's still inequality even in that, you know. There can be inequality within, you know, different groups of people, but it's just, like, maybe there's a different way to, like, live and, like, I don't know. You guys heard of, like, socialism, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
In communism and stuff like that, like.
Yeah. I mean, when the wheel is broken, like, you're supposed to fix it. Like, you know, like, we're not supposed to continue to do the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. Like, this is things that we're taught. So it's just, we have to find a wheel that works for us. Like, there's a recent
tires.
Yeah,
so
there's
that
a new
rickety
shit.
Yeah.
What?
There's
like, you know.
Like, when we talk about, like, because I mean, we're talking about, like, a political thing, like, as far as, like, this is the way that we need to, like, be governed, and this is the way that our society needs to be ran. And I think that there's a lot of traditions that need to be broken because they don't serve us, and they weren't created to serve us. So I think that when we talk about Black economic mobility and our ability to gain wealth, I think that that's limited by our governance and by our society. So I think that everything is tied to, like, being Black is a political thing because to be Black is to be oppressed. To be Black is to be resilient. Like, so to be Black is then political because it's tied to politics. We're police. Like, the Black body is police. So everything about Blackness has become political. But I think that we have to reshape politics. I think that's what you were talking about as far as like a new reality in which we have to exist, and a new reality that we have to define for ourselves. A new reality that we have to define for ourselves, and we have to welcome that reality by understanding that the reality that we're in has flaws. And until we acknowledge that the reality that we're in has flaws, we won't be able to create a reality that everyone can exist in, and it be sustainable, and it be equitable, and it be, I guess, prosperous and loving and joyous for the people that are residing and providing and going about existing, because the way that we've done it hasn't been kind to all people, and I think that we need to focus on being kind and being supportive, because one thing that coronavirus and this pandemic showed us is that the world can like just flip, and like when you think that things are going a certain way, and you think that this is all that you have, like this is you think that this is the world that you have to live in, you think that this is the obstacles that you have, there can be more added to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like your world can be blown up so easily. So when your world can be blown up so easily, I think that we have to learn to value the simplicity of things and the basics of things. And at our most basic and our most simplest is we are human beings. Like, we're all human beings. We all have needs. And I think that the kinder we are, the more we can tend to those needs.
Yeah, people definitely need to be nicer to themselves and realize that there are a lot of things working against us. So when everything isn't working out, don't always just straight blame yourself and get down on yourself. Just really just understand that this is gonna happen. Like, it's not the first time, it's not gonna be the last time, and you're gonna make it through.
Yeah. And let's just come together, come to the table, have these conversations, because they're helping. Like, they're helping. Whether we believe it, we don't have a choice at this point, because, like, this is what we have. We have each other, and we have our perspectives. And the only thing that we can do is bring those perspectives together and create something.
Thank you for listening to Rich Talk. Make sure you subscribe to our website at richmagdigital.com and follow us on all platforms.